So I want to talk about characterization, and I feel like the subtlety, the subtle connection between um, theme, uh, theme and character is really important. The theme of the story and the character is really important, and it can come down to so where I've gone, I guess, in my writing journey is uh, I've started off with plot and really heavy on the plot, and I still continue to do that. And my concern is that my plot's too complicated. I'm putting in more plot to kind of make up for a lack of something, and I think that lack is characterization. I did identify that with my last book, where I think it's like grading yourself, uh, at university, school, whatever, and trying to get to a high distinction and figuring out what are the parts that you need to have to get those extra marks. And the key that I think perhaps one of the keys, certainly one of the building blocks that I'm now putting into place, that I feel I'm putting into place with my writing, is characterization. And the way that that's come about, um, obviously I've noticed something missing for starters. So I've been playing around with this a bit, and I thought it was theme, and so I started with theme, and I'm kind of and theme is very general, and it's not warm. It's just a thing. It's not cold. It's not warm. It's just theme. Um, it's there, right? And you can point it out and you can say that's the theme, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything to a reader. It doesn't necessarily give the reader an emotional reaction. So where that happens is in character, and what the character's feeling, what the character's going through. So to flesh out the theme, you have to understand how that plays out for the character. And I think the easiest way to do this is to understand the number one driver for your character. So it's not necessarily like a goal as such. It's a it's a it's a motivation. Why is the character doing anything at all? Anything at all. And so for my character right now, what it's come down to, he's a male. He's 20 years old, and he's going to meet with his date, who's kind of jerked him around a bit, right? And his main driver is sex, um, and that's it. And it's that simple. And so if I take that main driver and basically kind of like turn it into a pair of glasses and put it on the character, and so everything that he's seeing is through that lens, then that allows me to characterize his perspective, his view of things, right? So in the lead up to this, I was thinking, okay, well, how can I have a continual theme of characterization through the book, to show what he's thinking and how he's changing, because I think that's something I've missed in the past, is a clear character arc, or a very I want to say an obvious character arc for the reader. Because if it's not obvious enough, then you're leaving it to them guessing, and that a little bit of that is okay, but not too much. So you want to alliterate that more in the book, and so more in my writing. And so that's what I wanted to is to have um, drops of, I want to say theme, right? But that drops of characterization, that drops the drop of viewpoint that gets to the core of the character. And I think that's that's where the strength of it is, because you're going down to that core need, that core motivation for the character, and you're going into that deep private place. And so it leads me to ask the question that, and that um, is the motivation of all characters based on primal needs, or is it more complicated than that? So obviously, with my character having the primal need of sex, is kind of like a baseline, and I love how it just connects with everything. That's certainly how I'm presenting it in the book. So it's kind of like, his world revolves around that, in a sense. And so I just wonder if you can, if you're dealing with your character and you boil it down to very simple stuff, does it come back to sex? I think not sex, sorry, some primal urge or primal instinct. I certainly don't think it all comes back to sex, but I think there could be like certain primal triggers. So you've got fear. I don't know about this, but fear, flight. You've got protective instincts. So there's the point I'm trying to make here is just to try and extract some of those possible other primal urges, needs, to demonstrate that there are other motivations that characters can have. But essentially getting down to the origin of that motivation. What is the simple origin of that motivation? Be it dirty, unpretty, animalistic, and not dressed up, at all, and so that gives it that rawness, and then all the coverings that go over that are really just the moral kind of standards that we have, and the trends. It might be like fashionable trends, not necessarily in just clothes, but anyway, that's sort of where I'm at with this whole thing. Obviously, I'm still struggling with the concept of it, but I just wanted to kind of demonstrate what I'm seeing with my book at the moment, that I think is really going to take it to the next level, and put the reader right into the body of the character. That's it.